Right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to you. You get a chance to take a look at our very first interview that we have with our Team E leadership. So of course, I get to interview the leader of the week. And so you guys get to learn a little bit more about this person. I know a little bit about her, but I get to learn a little bit more. So I'm really excited about today's interview. So I get to interview none other than the famous Miss Adriana, aka the Adrianator, Archuleta. So thank you first off for agreeing to do this interview with us today on Below the Deck with Team E, the leadership, get to meet the leadership. So my very first question, if you can answer that for me, Adriana, is who were you back in high school? So tell me a little bit about Adriana. Who was Adriana back in school? I knew you a little bit. I was teaching, but tell everybody who you were. As what kind of a person were you? Were you a rocker? Were you an athlete? What did you do back in high school?
So I definitely wasn't a rocker or an athlete. No, I'm just kidding. But I actually did do a little bit in the softball area. I wasn't very good at it, but I did try. That was awesome. And I've always, loved to try new things. So I really actually was, involved with a lot of different groups, I guess you would say. I was friends with everybody. I always loved getting to know as many people as possible. So I was definitely friendly with as many people as I could be. And, of course, there's always going to be those people in our lives that just don't connect with us. But of course, I really actually did enjoy rock and roll, and I loved, classical music. I did join choir for a little while during a few of my years, but one of my favorite things was actually photography. I took photography for many years in high school, and I have a best friend that does photography. So that's always been something, being out in nature, just checking out different scenery. And I think that's always been one of my favorite things is being adventurous. So
Awesome. Well, that's always really interesting to me to see who a person was and see if you can kind of guess when you're talking to the person of who you were back then. If you could give any kind of advice to the young Adriana back in school, if you could get in an 88 DeLorean, go 88 miles an hour, and go talk to Adriana, what would be your advice to yourself?
So my biggest advice to myself, which of course I learned at the end of my high school side, is, just put myself out there a little bit more. Actually, what the most important thing is, I was kind of more, I wouldn't really say a rebel, but I kind of was in a sense because I decided to um, take actions that weren't really in my best interest when it came down to schooling. So at the end of the day, I had to end up catch up on a lot of stuff because I just wasn't showing up. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And at the end of the day, I wish I would have showed up a lot sooner and took those actions right away because I would have been highly successful from the beginning instead of having to push myself to catch up at the end. And so that's something I would definitely tell myself is just show up, get it done, and get that successful feeling right away instead of feeling it a lot later in my high school side at least.
Awesome. That's some great advice and appreciate that. Let's fast forward and we'll talk a little bit about your business. What is some of the, or what would be like one of the biggest, I guess you could say, challenges that you've experienced in your legal show business? And what was that? What consisted of that challenge? What was one of the hardest things for you up until this point?
Okay, so one of the hardest things for me, of course, it was kind of the same thing actually. It was just getting that consistency. It's really important to be consistent and have a good schedule and game plan, which of course I've continuously learned how to get that game plan going, have a specific goal for each day to complete. And so before, like I said, I'm very adventurous. I would, go out and I'd hit up a couple places, but at the end of the day, I never really completed my goal because I was like, oh, well, I'm already out and about. I'm going to head to the mountains, or something. So always just being consistent, just finish what you have to do. And then of course, go and have fun because that's, one of the great things with Legal Shield is we get to take advantage and manage our own time. So it's really important to have a good schedule and just get the things done that are needed for your success. And then of course you can go ahead and have as much fun as possible.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. And I kind of alluded to my other question, which would be for all of these new people, we know that your team is growing quite a bit, and the team Eclipse is growing quite a bit. What would be some advice that you would have for a new person that's joining? And I think you kind of answered that already, but if you have any additional advices to a new person, what would that be?
My advice would definitely be know what you want. Because if you have a good idea of what you want and what your real goals are, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to complete those goals. Like, for example, this month, my goal was to hit PC Pro by the middle of the month, which I did several times, but I also wanted to help my team be successful. So I spread my stuff around a little bit, which was good in the end. But at the same time, I made sure my goal was hit. So before I knew it, I wasn't even really noticing how fast I was doing it. But at the same time, before I knew it, my goal was already hit by the middle of the month. And I was able to actually uh, not really stress out like I sometimes do because of that lack of consistency, like I was talking about. But just know what you really want, make a good game plan for each and every day, and hit those goals. Because if you are hitting those goals, then you will be highly successful.
Awesome. That was right on. And then finally, and my final and last question, uh, with the pandemic being what it is, and we're kind of, we don't know if we're on the back end of it or not, but how has your business been impacted by the pandemic, and I guess some of the ways that you've overcome those kind of challenges, but has it been affected at all, or is there anything that you can see that's a little different than was before we went into the pandemic?
Yeah, so it had definitely been impacted. I love being out and about and different businesses. That's what my side was business solutions. So I would go to different groups, get them scheduled, and be able to go in there and interact with everybody. And so we completely changed that over to a more virtual, going to Zoom meetings, which is awesome because not only were we helping potential members prior, but now we get to help members and bring on a much more diverse team from all over, New Mexico, Texas, throughout the United States. Really, we have expanded so much. But that's one thing that I could say for sure is that it was impacted at first because we had to set up a new system. But now that we have our new system set up, it is actually benefited us in so many different ways because we get to work with so many amazing people throughout our day.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this, and everybody subscribe to our channel. We're also gonna be on YouTube as well as the Team Eclipse Facebook page. So we're the group. So we're really excited. We're growing quite a bit. Adriana, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a leader in our team, and I appreciate you being the first, as always, to do our interview process. So thank you so much, and we'll see everybody on the backside of this wave over here. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day. Bye for now.